Are you welcome to 60 Minutes with PD? Another evening with PD, learning everything you need to know about relationships. Yes, it's another day, 60 Minutes with PD. Mr. Ayo, how are you? Lois, how you doing? Binta, good to see you as usual. It's 60 Minutes with PD. Yes. Call your friends, you still have time to quickly call a friend, get them on board. Let's have the platform full tonight because we are talking about amazing things. We're gonna learn so much. Na Afako, how are you? Tell me where you're from. I think Na will be from Accra or Kumasi. Mr. Ayo, how are you? Good to see you, Mr. Ayo. How are you? How are we doing? Good to see you all. Fantastic. In the next few minutes, we're going to start the program this Saturday. We're talking about success secrets in marriage. The things we have to know about marriage. Marriage is, there are things that if we know these things and we do these things, our marriages will be successful, we'll be the right people and we'll live the lives that we're supposed to live. So yes, welcome to the platform, people. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD, your fastest moving 60 minutes of the day. The next 60 minutes, I promise you, will move so fast, you won't believe it. It always goes so fast. And I always leave on the dot. Once it's 60 minutes, I'm gone. Okay. It's every Saturday at this time, so just set your clock, set your calendar. At 8:30 on Saturdays, I am here, right here. Please follow me. The 1 hour is never enough, but guess what? I'm always back next Saturday. Okay, so this week it's Success Secrets of Successful Marriages, Part 2. I did a Part 1 last week, and I have a few more points to put in to complete this week. So today's topic is Secrets of Success in Marriage, Part 2. Yes, marriages can be successful if we know the secrets, if we know what to do. Marriages can be successful. We live in an age where people are struggling, marriages are struggling, and we've got to know that they don't have to struggle. If we know what to do, we know the right responses, they don't have to struggle. And you will not be one of the number of struggling marriages that exist in this time. Marriages will work when you recognize the things that make marriages work. Marriages will work when you recognize the things that make marriages work. Some of these things may not seem important, but their effect on marriage is significant. Some of the things that we're going to talk about, it might not seem important at this point, but in a marriage, these things are significant. So we want to know them. The time you spend knowing these things is going to be the most valuable time that you spent. Time well spent. So time that you spend to learn these things about marriage is going to be time well spent. It's time that will yield you good results. Okay? So the next few minutes, the next 57 minutes are going to be valuable time that you learn so much. Okay? It will save you from years of painful mistakes. Too many times, I said it last week, that actually the enemy of marriage is not the devil, is ignorance. Because out of ignorance, we don't do some things and then sometimes we do some things we shouldn't be doing. So at the end of the day, if we know better, we will do better and we will enjoy our marriages. This is 60 Minutes with PD. It's relationships that are worked on that work. Please follow me right here and on YouTube at PIIDI19. Get your friends to follow. Let's do relationships together. And actually today, I want today to be interactive. So if you want to come on and ask a few questions, just make sure that you've got good lighting where you are and request to come on and I will bring you on. So we'll start at number 12. Secret number 12 is completely resolve issues verbally before you move on. And this is so important. Too many times when issues are not resolved, those issues become baggage and baggage get carried and baggage kills marriages, baggage kills relationships. So let's learn this very early in the day. Always get issues resolved. Resolve them verbally. Don't make assumptions. Don't just move on because you may have the capacity to move on, but your partner, your spouse, is there waiting, hoping to get the issue resolved. And if it's not, it's baggage. And you don't want to have baggage in your marriage. That seems to rhyme. Baggage in your marriage. You don't want to have baggage in your marriage. Okay? Issues must be resolved. All unresolved issues become baggage. Baggage builds up and starts to separate a couple while they are still together. Baggage gets in between of a couple. Unresolved issues become baggage. They become a mountain between the two people. Intimacy is gone. Unity is gone because issues aren't resolved. So it's so important. Unresolved issues pile up silently and quickly. For a lot of people, by the time they notice that there's baggage, it's too late. I've tried to mediate between couples, and when a couple says, you know what, I just can't go back, I just can't connect with this person anymore. The reason is that they let issues be unresolved, and the baggage grew to the point where the baggage is like a mountain, and now it's like, you know what, I can't cross this mountain, and I think this marriage is over. You know, and you don't want to get there. Get your issues resolved before you get there, okay? Because most times when issues aren't resolved, it doesn't seem important. It's like, I didn't resolve it, I can move on. It doesn't seem important. But the cumulative effect of this thing is very bad. And it's bad enough that it could break a relationship. It could end a marriage in divorce just because there were issues that weren't resolved. So let's not overlook these things. Never allow baggage to accumulate in your marriage. Remember this, really, this is key. Never allow baggage to accumulate in your marriage. Okay, number 13, women communicate to connect. I think I've taught on this before. It's on my IGTV on communication. All men must learn that women, one, they communicate to connect. She needs to talk. She needs to express herself. She needs to be heard. Every partner in a relationship needs to be heard. And women unwind verbally. That's something many men don't understand. When she's talking, she doesn't need a response from you. She doesn't need you to solve anything. And she's not complaining. She's just unwinding verbally. She's had a long day, she's been busy, and now she's unwinding verbally because she needs to unwind before she can get with you. So it's really important that you allow her to unwind, because you want her to get with you. Okay, secret number 14. Know and speak your partner's love language intentionally. And the key word here is intentional. Success in marriage is about being intentional. If you're just emotional and you're just responding in a very unrefined way to your partner, you're going to offend them. You're going to be angry when you shouldn't. You're going to be impatient when you should be patient. You're going to say things you shouldn't say. So you've got to be intentional. So you're intentional. You're intentionally loving, intentionally many things. We'll come to that point very soon, because that is a secret as well. So know and speak your partner's love language intentionally. It's very important that you know your partner's love language and that you do it to them. It blows my mind when I see people who've been married for 10 years, 6 years, and I say, what's your partner's love language? And they're struggling. See, a person's love language is what you do to them for them to feel loved. If you are struggling to figure out what it is after 6 to 10 years of marriage, it means that in 6 to 10 years of marriage, you have not consistently been showing them your love, which means that sometimes you hit it, sometimes you miss it. And your partner is in this, does he love me or does she love me? And they don't know. So there's no excuse. You're expected to know your partner's love language, and you're expected to do it, because you may do many other things, but those things don't show them. Those things don't make them feel like you love them. So you've got to do their love language to them. Okay? It's totally unacceptable for spouses not to know each other's love language. You have got to care enough to find out what you can do to make your spouse feel loved. You've got to, and it's very simple, you've got to care for your partner enough to find out what it is that you need to do to make them feel loved. So that is there, right there. So not only should you learn, but you should be intentional about doing it to them. So you know it and then you do it. If you have any questions, please put the questions up on the platform. I would love to answer a few questions today. And I'd love to have a few people on the platform. If you want to ask a question, please request to join and I will bring you on. Fantastic. So not only should you find out what their love language is, then you have to do it to them. Okay? I've spoken about love languages in the past. It's on my IGTV right here on my profile. So it's at PIDI19 on Instagram, IGTV. So I will not teach on love languages. But love languages there are 5 basic love languages, and everybody falls into one of these 5 love languages. And one is words of affirmation, acts of service, touch, gifts, and quality time. So find out, if you're with your spouse right now or with your boyfriend or girlfriend, find out if you know it. Find out. Ask them, tell them, just check. Make sure that you know what it is, because it's important that you know this point. No matter what you are doing for your spouse, or yes, no matter what sacrifice you're making for them, if you are not doing their love language to them specifically, they will not feel loved. Okay, secret number 15. I'm moving very fast this evening. Communication must be intentional. Communication must be consistent and in your partner's language. This issue here is interesting. I want us to really follow this, because we're going to find out that not everything you say is what they hear. Okay, and it's not everything you mean by what you do is what they are getting from you, because they have filters. They were raised in a different house by different parents, and different things mean different things mean different things to them. So you've got to really find out what it means to them, and truly you don't force your partner to learn your language. You actually, it's the onus is on you, the responsibility is on you to learn their language. Okay, so communication must be intentional, consistent, and in your partner's language. I'm not saying love language this time. It's a different kind of language. The same situation means different things to different people. I'll say it one more time. The same situation means different things to different people, because both spouses come from different exposures, experience, and have different filters. One of the first things you will notice when you get married is that misunderstanding will arise from your spouse reading the wrong meaning into the things that you do or say. I'll say it one more time. When you get married, one of the first things that's going to cause a problem is that you're going to find out that your spouse is reading the wrong meaning into the things that you do and say. You meant this, but it's meaning something different to them, and then it's going to cause a problem or a quarrel. It's very common. So you've got to look out for that, because not everything you do means the same thing to them. I see a few questions. I'm coming to those questions in a few minutes. I think I'll finish this point and I'll take those two questions. Okay, so what you said or did meant one thing to you, but it meant something else totally to them. You did not mean to give offense, but your spouse has taken offense. This happens because you are speaking different languages, even though you are speaking in the same tongue. You have to learn your partner's language and speak it to them. You should not force them to speak yours. You have to learn how to say what you want to say in the language they understand to mean what you want to say. I hope you get this. I'll say it one more time. It's a tongue twister. You have to learn how to say what you want to say in the language they understand to mean what you want to say, so they can get what you're saying. You have to learn what the things you do mean to them, and you start doing it to them, the things that convey the message you have in mind. So like if you do something to them that means this to you and that's to them, you've got to learn what it means to them. So each time you do that thing, you know that that's what you're telling them. It's a language. I've got to learn it. If you don't learn it, then you will find out that you're disagreeing and you're not on the same point. You're not seeing things the same way, and that's just because you have different filters. You're coming from different homes. Fantastic. I'll stop right there. Let's take a question right here. See, question. Okay. What if your partner just refuses to talk about the issue and just say it's fine when it's not? Okay, that's a good question. If that's the case, you've got to get them to talk, or that's why we do counseling. Sometimes there's so much offense between the couple that if you don't get a third party to speak to the both of you, then there could be problems. Okay? It says like, can a Christian marry a Muslim and live in peace? Not really. Eventually you're going to have a problem. You guys need to decide what way you're going to go, because if you're that different in your religion, in your basic beliefs, that in itself is a rift. That in itself is a divide between both of you. So both of you need to decide which way you want to go, and then you go that way. Fantastic. Good. More questions, people. More questions, people. Okay. Yes. Things you do can mean different things to different people. So don't keep doing things according to your own interpretation. Do and say things according to your partner's interpretation. Now, this is very good advice. It's like, don't do things according to your own interpretation. Okay? Because always go out of your way to learn what it means to them, and do things and say things according to your partner's interpretation. And hopefully your partner is doing the same thing for you. Marriage is always so good when both of you are doing the same, you're on the same level and you're doing the same things to each other. So you are doing love to them, they're doing love to you. You're doing your love language to them, they're doing your love language to you, and that is so important. Okay? Always remember that love is never about you. Love is selfless. Love is always about the other person. Love is what makes marriage work. Did you get that? Numbers 16. Know that these things are bad in marriage. So I'm going to give you a list of items. These things are bad in marriage. Anger is bad. Revenge is bad. Retaliation is bad. Lies are bad. Impatience is bad. Manipulation is bad. Malice is bad. Silent treatment is bad. That's just punishment. And then be intentional about not doing these things. Inner beauty has greater impact long term than outer beauty. I'll say one more time. Inner beauty has much greater impact than outer beauty. Outer beauty will attract your spouse, but it's your inner beauty that keeps them. I'll say one more time. Your outer beauty will attract people. But it's your inner beauty that keeps them. So even though you're beautiful on the outside, you've got to make sure that you're beautiful on the inside. Do we get that? Inner beauty is about good and attractive character. There's something that's called good and attractive character. And that's what inner beauty is about. Okay? The good thing about character is that you can intentionally mold and adjust your character. The following aspects of a person's character are ugly, and you should do everything you can to see to it that your spouse is not exposed to any of them by you. And that's anger. Make sure that your spouse, see, anger is ugly. Be intentional. Your spouse, your partner, don't let them see you angry. Just calm down. Don't be angry and don't revenge. Revenge is ugly. The fact that somebody did something to you and you try to do it back to them, it's not love. It's not attractive. It's ugly. So don't get into revenge. Don't get into some retaliatory posture with your partner or your spouse. You're in there to love them, not to revenge and retaliate. And definitely don't lie. If you lie, lies will eventually be found out, and then trust is gone. And I'll tell you this, marriage without trust just cannot exist. I don't see how two people can be married and not trust one another, because you can't follow them everywhere they go. You can't watch over them. You've got to trust them. Like they're going on a business trip, you've got to let them go. They're going somewhere you can, trust is so important in marriage that you must value it and don't do anything to break trust in marriage, because the idea that you could want to remain happily married, having lost the trust that you have with your spouse, it's not possible. It's just not possible. So let's start to understand that trust is really important, and we should do everything we can to keep it. So of course we try not. And then the thing about lies is this: don't do stuff that you have to lie to protect yourself. So there are times when it's like, I have no choice. I just have to lie, because if I don't lie, I'm going to be in serious trouble, and she's going to be so hurt. But the whole idea is that don't do those things. So you never have a reason to have to lie to protect and defend what you've done. So you can preempt lying by just doing the right thing, being at the right place where you should be, doing the right thing that you should. Okay, so don't lie. I was on lie. Where was I? Yes, be patient. Be patient. They're late for a meeting. It's okay. They're late for the date. It's fine. They're late for dinner. Just relax. Manipulation is ugly. You don't manipulate people. Discuss with people. Reach out for their heart. Reach for understanding, but don't manipulate. Don't do things to make them do things. That's manipulation. Don't manipulate. Don't keep malice. It's not good. Silent treatment is wickedness. Where, I know that you need communication. I'm your only legal source of quality communication, and now I withhold it. I just give you the silent treatment. It's really bad. Let's not do that. Even though we feel like doing it, let's talk. Okay? Many times instinctively you want to clam up, and I understand that. I've been there. But talk to yourself and say, guy, talk, girl, talk. Just talk. Keep talking till things are resolved. Okay? So, and be intentional not to do these things at all. Secret number 17, be transparent with your finances. This is really important. Finances is where people really fight. People just don't get along when it comes to money. Okay, so be transparent with your finances. Transparent means let your spouse know about your money. Let them know how much you earn. Let them know where you're spending it. Have agreement on spending. You don't have to have a joint account. You don't have to have a joint account. Because some people ask me, PD, do we have to have our money in the same place? It's a good idea, but you don't have to. But you both have to know what's coming in, and you both need to sit down and have an agreement as to how it's shared, as to who pays what. Okay, let it be very clear, let it be very open, so that there's no argument. It's like, if I'm paying the rent and I'm paying the rent, and you're buying food, then that's fine and that's okay. And whatever, no matter how you arrange it, make sure that if you're the guy, you're giving your wife some money to spend on herself. Even if she earns more money than you, it's something. That's what love is. Love gives. You've got to give her something that she spends on herself, and that just makes her feel really loved. And if there anyone on the platform that says yes, please just agree with me right here. Okay, right here, right here. As I was saying, okay, finances are big. Finances are a big thing in marriage. Remember your vows. Actually, the marriage vows actually have finance vows there. It says, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, till death do us part. That for richer, for poorer is like, you know what? I am committing myself into your hands financially. We are both committing ourselves into our hands financially. And if we do that, I mean, I'm hoping that, for God's sakes, I hope that you're responsible, that you'll be responsible with your finances, you'll be responsible with my finances, because we've made a pledge to one another that for richer and for poorer, we're going to be together till death, does us part, till we die. So, I mean, that's a very powerful pledge that you make when you get married. But people forget this. As soon as they make it, they forget. You've pledged to be open to each other financially. Okay? So, you should know how much you both earn. When a wife says, you know what, I don't know how much he earns, it's like, what, really? I mean, you don't know how much he earns? That's not, so guys, be open. It's not a big secret. And I'll tell you this. If your wife knows how much you earn, there's some things that she'll see. The neighbors could have bought it, but her mind will not go there because she knows that we can't afford it. But if your income is a mystery, she has no idea. And I'll tell you this: whenever your income is a mystery, she never will assume it's lower. Anytime you don't know a person's income, there's always an assumption it's higher. So now she's seen the new G-Wagon next door, and she's looking at you like bros, I think we should be getting a newer version of theirs because, we need to compete with our neighbors. So she's going to write checks that you can't cash if she doesn't know how much you earn. So it's so important that you're transparent. And that's good. So if you need to save money, you'll save money together. If you need to be prudent about your expenses, you can do it together. But if one person doesn't know, then that person starts to act and demand and desire things that they aren't supposed to because you don't have the money. So let's be transparent with our money. Yes. There should be no financial infidelity. I've taught on finances before, so please go to my IGTV on Instagram at PIDI19. Yes, don't have financial infidelity going on in your marriage. Your partner should know what you do with your money. And you should do, and you should know what you should do with your money, what is expected of you. Even though you earn the money, you should have agreement before you go purchase a big ticket item. And this is true. This is something that people need to learn. Even though you earn the money and you're married, you shouldn't. You aren't supposed to just go out and buy yourself a brand new car without telling your wife, or a motorbike, or some big ticket item without telling your partner, because even though you earned it, it's still your money. It's communal. Whether you like it or not, when you're married, your finances become communal. It's like it's our money. Okay, her money is our money, his money is our money. It's all our money, and so you can't just go out and you saw this amazing bracelet that you want for yourself, and then you bought it. I mean, it's different if you're buying it for her. Okay, then it's different where you might not want her to know. But then I've seen where a guy buys a car for her, but actually that car is for him. I don't know if you get my point, where he actually wants to drive that car, and he now goes and buys it, doesn't tell her, and says, well, it's for her. Okay, I don't know if you're getting my point, but actually that car is actually for him. So let's not play that. That's some kind of manipulation. But let's tell our partners before we spend money on big ticket items. Are we hearing something tonight? Are we hearing something? This is good wisdom here. Okay. Be very clear as to who pays for what. That's very important in marriages, because that's what, who's paying the school fees, where's the money coming from, who's paying the rent, who's putting money down for food, who's buying the tickets for summer. Just let it be clear who pays for what. If you're pulling the money together, that's great. If each person has responsibilities, financial responsibilities, that's okay as well. But there has got to be a system and a structure. It can't be haphazard where a bill comes and she's pushing it to him, he's pushing it to her, and nobody's sure who's really responsible. Let's not do that in marriage. It doesn't make marriage work. You need to sort it out. Most fights in marriage are about money. The root being a lack of understanding of your partner's money language. That's interesting. When you get married, there are so many languages to learn. There is something called a money language. That's like everybody responds to money differently. And because of that, we are able to offend ourselves and make ourselves extremely uncomfortable financially without really knowing it. Very soon I'll go over the 5 different money languages, but I've taught this before. Go to my IGTV, just search on money languages, and it's there. For example, there's a person who is a security seeker. A security seeker is a person that likes to have a lot of money saved in the bank. So if there are many zeros behind, in the bank, then I feel comfortable. I feel peaceful. I feel, well, if I have a problem, I have money to deal with it. If there's a rainy day, I can resolve issues. Now, if I marry a big spender who likes to, for them, money just means status. If they have money, they want to buy the biggest car, biggest house. They want to, have the most expensive watches. If we're married, one person could make the other really uncomfortable. Where if one person controls the finances and you're the security seeker, you could save all the money, and then you're just living a very humble, very, very tight and plain life, and your partner is not liking it because they want the biggest car and the biggest house. Or if the big spender is in control of the finances, then all the money coming in is spent. Big house, big mortgage, big expenses, big, and there's nothing in the bank. And the other person is uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. And then that's when the fights come. It's like, I'm just not comfortable. So you've got to know your partner's money language. So that was, that's part of this secret in marriages, right? In marriages, you've got to know your partner's money language. You've got to know yours. And then you've got to know how the two languages interact. And I've taught on this. I will not get back into it in detail. Go to my IGTV at PIJ19, and it's there. It's there. Okay. There are 5 money languages. 1, big spender. 2, so that person likes to spend a lot of money. 2, security seeker. They seek money, to them means security, so they keep it. They got the risk taker. This person is involved in like every single business that comes there. They put the money in. They're taking risk of the money. That's who they are. If a risk taker marries a security seeker, you got a problem. But the issue here is balance. When money comes in, spend a little bit on big spending, on risk taking, and spend the rest on security. Once each person's language is spoken, then there's a balance and life goes on. Did we get this? Then there's saver, people who like to save, and then there's a giver, people who they're donating to everything. And somebody here wants to buy a new car, but they're donating to everything, and then there's a problem. So obviously you need to talk about this. Okay, I think I've said that. Number 18. Secret number 18. This is secret of success, or marriage success secrets number 18. No unspoken expectations. And I've seen this happen many times where people are married and it's like, I don't just get how he could think that he would not do that or do that. You haven't asked for it, you haven't told them, but you are hurt that they didn't do it. Marriages don't work that way. There should be no unspoken expectations. So whatever it is that you want in the marriage from your spouse, you've got to say it. You cannot say, I want them to surprise, like that's something else. I'll get back to it, where people just want to be surprised. And that's good. Surprises are fun, it's nice, but there's a time for that. Looking for surprises at the beginning of a relationship, at the beginning of a marriage, is not realistic because they don't know you well enough. They just stress and stress. If there are any guys out there, guys, please, make a few comments about how we feel when we're asked to surprise them when we don't know them that well yet. So guys, let's get some comments on the platform. Talk to me, people. So expectations should not be demanded, and that's true. Expectations should not be demanded. It should be spoken about and discussed, but love does not demand. Okay, love doesn't demand, so expectations should not be demanded. Never say I expected you to know. Your spouse is not a mind reader. I'll say it one more time. Don't say I expected you to know, because why? Your spouse is not a mind reader. Okay? Neither is your spouse in an exam trying to figure out what you want. There's times when you're married, it's like you're in an exam. You're trying to figure out what does he want, what does he want, what does he want, what does she want, what does she want. She's not saying anything, but I'm supposed to figure it out. It's like an exam. No, that's too much stress. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's just not do that. Let us be open. Let's discuss things. Let all our expectations, let it be voiced. Let it be spoken. Okay? I've heard people say, I can't imagine anyone not knowing this and that. But guess what? If you don't say it, don't expect it. If you don't say it, don't expect it. It's great to have your partner surprise you in a romantic way. But let me tell you this desire to be surprised is stressing the man. After you have been married for over 5 years, he'll know what to surprise you with. It's easier to surprise a person you've been with for a while. So it's like when you're just new, when it's still fresh, it's hard to think like, what it could be. And you don't want to surprise a person and you get surprised yourself. Okay. Secret number 19, no toxic topics. Again, I'll say it one more time, no toxic topics. There should be no toxic topics in a marriage. Toxic topics in a marriage are topics that every time we discuss this topic, we fight and we quarrel. So one party is afraid of bringing up the topic because they fear the anger and response it will bring from the other spouse. Does anybody know, has anybody been with anybody where there are toxic topics? People, toxic topics. Let's have some interaction. Where if you bring up a topic, it's like a problem. If we talk about my mother, for example, we are going to fight tonight. If we talk about money, then we're going to fight tonight. If we talk about my ex, we're going to fight tonight. Okay, so guys, talk to me. I want some examples of toxic topics. Yes. Hi, you don't force your partner to learn your love language. Yes, you do not force your partner to learn your love language. Let's get some comments. Yes. Inner beauty, yes. It's inner beauty that lasts, actually. Inner beauty is what lasts. Outer beauty, it fades. Marriage without trust does not exist. There has got to be trust. Like the worst thing you could mess up is trust. Yes, this is from Nana. Yes, Dr. Naoste. I agree. Okay, I see some agreement. I agree with your list of bad things in marriage, but sometimes you can't help but do some of those things, like the silent treatment. And sometimes you think, this is not good. Like we can help it. We can help it. I've learned that we can coach ourselves. We can train ourselves. The person I am today is not the person I've always been. Okay, I used to be hot-headed, and I used to just be as bad goes. But I'm no longer like that. With time, we just knowing the right thing and practicing the right thing. The key word I'll tell you is practice. I can't play football, but if I practice football, eventually I'm going to be okay. So I get angry all the time, or I use silent treatment to deal with issues. But if I practice to speak, I practice to discuss, I practice to find other solutions, then I get better. Initially, I might still not get it, but eventually I will get it. Do just get that. Yes, husband, please give us money to spend on ourselves. That is so true. No, but it's true. What surprised me is this. Even if I've seen where the woman earns way more than he does. She earns a lot more than he does. But she put her foot down. It's like every month, give me some money. Just like, no matter what it is, just give it to me and say, I give you this. Let me spend it on anything I want. It's not tied to anything. So and guys, don't give your wife money for food and tell her to take her money from inside it. It's not fair. It doesn't encourage transparency, because you give her money for food. Now she's going to take money that's supposed to be for food for herself. She would struggle with that. So don't do that. Let it be separate. Like, this money I'm giving you, it has nothing attached to it. Just spend it. Just spend it on anything you want to spend it on. It's just your money. Okay? It's very important. Okay? Yes, 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 yes. That is true. When he will buy, this is from Binta. Yes, I've seen this too, where a guy buys a car without getting any permission, and says it's for you. But to be frank, it's not really for you. It's for him because he knows he's gonna like drive it. Yes, the toxic point on my part is the issue of adoption. Yeah, adoption shouldn't be a toxic topic. Talk about it. But they shouldn't pray about it, talk about it, and get a third party involved, somebody that they respect. Or like every party, like one of the topics that I'm going to hit tonight, hopefully, is the fact that every marriage should have some kind of oversight, and this oversight should not be your parents. Your parents should be the last oversight that you have, because I'll talk about it very soon. Yes, but let it not be a toxic topic. Get a third party involved. If you're dealing with a man, men respect older men that they respect. So it's always easy. Like I've seen this happen a lot of times when a wife tells her husband something and he rejects it completely, doesn't do it, and then his friends tell him the same thing, and he comes home and says, "Darling, I've decided to do this." And you're thinking, "I told you this like 2-3 weeks ago, but now you've come back from visiting your friends, and now that's what we're going to do." But guys do it a lot, So watch out for that. So also have some older person that can talk to a man. It always helps. Ndambuki Ali from Kenya. How are you? How you doing? Yes. Good to see you all. You're just amazing people. Okay, so toxic topics. Toxic topics can be money, mother-in-law, exes. It could be anything. So anytime I talk about your mother or family, we fight. That shouldn't be. Or anytime we talk about money, we quarrel, and that shouldn't be. Now once we've quarreled, communication is hindered, intimacy is affected, and you can't be intimate with someone that you cannot communicate with. And that's one thing we want to learn here. You cannot be intimate with somebody that you are not communicating with. You just get that. So you've got to keep communicating, okay? And if there's a toxic topic, then you're not communicating, okay? Communication is always lost before intimacy is lost. So the first thing, like in a marriage, like there are sequences. If you lose communication, you're going to lose intimacy. If you lose intimacy, you risk losing the marriage. You just get that. So when you start to lose communication, don't think it's not important. It's very important. Don't lose the level of communication that you have, because it's going to result in loss of intimacy, and that could end up in the loss of the relationship itself. So you don't want to do that. Allow your spouse to talk to you about anything and anyone. Be intentional. It's like, talk to me. Let your spouse be able to talk to you about anything and anyone at any time. Be intentional to never respond with anger or in a defensive manner. And this is one thing for both men and women. Whatever comes at you from your spouse, do not respond with anger. Anger never gets a good result for you. Anger at the end of the day becomes a means of controlling the situation. You don't like the question, I'll get angry, it doesn't get answered, and I back them off. So I've controlled the situation. And what did I use? I used anger. Okay? I mean, that's what you're doing, whether you know it or not. And you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Anger is not the answer to resolving situations or issues. Okay? So let's not do that. I think I'm going to do something on anger one of these days, because it needs to be dealt with. Okay. Actually encourage your spouse to talk to you about everything. It's actually a very good trait in a marriage where you encourage yourselves to talk to each other about anything. Just like, darling, I won't get angry. Just let's talk about it. And then we will resolve issues and we move forward. You just get that. Yes. Secret number 20. Know your personality types. I'll say it one more time. Marriage success secret number 20 is know your personality types. You should know your own personality type. You should also know your spouse's personality type. Knowing this allows you to make the right adjustment for smooth interaction between you and your spouse. Okay? Personality type mismatches is the unseen killer of marriages. When your personality types clash and you don't know, you're just going to be seeing yourself having problems and issues in the marriage, and you can't put your finger on what the problem is. But the problem is just the way you're wired, is your personality type. And there are 3 personality types. There's the aggressives, the passive-aggressives, and the passives. 3 major personality types. And there are adjustments that you make once you know the type the personality of the person that you're married to, and you know yours. There are adjustments that you make to make it work. I taught on this. It's on my IGTV on Instagram at PIIDII19. Go there and listen to it. It's valuable information. Okay. Whenever I'm counseling, and a woman says to me, he's always saying, I don't respect him, and I don't know, and I don't see why. Immediately I hear that, I know that there's a personality type problem right there, where she's probably an aggressive, and he's a passive aggressive. If he was passive, he'd say nothing and he'd be okay. But a passive aggressive is aggressive actually, but they're looking passive. So, but you think that they're passive, so you're just being your same old aggressive self, and they don't like it. They're not saying much, and they're piling up your offenses. So one day they're going to blow up, and it's going to like surprise everybody how mad they are. But it's because they've been holding on to the offenses for a while. Passive aggressives, they hold on to it for a while till it becomes too much for them to hold, and then they blow up. But I've thought about this. If you relate to what I'm saying any kind of way, give me an inclination. Say something so we can talk about it. Ask me some questions, people. I think just ask some questions. I think that's the power of a night like this, where questions can be answered, and you can get some answers and go back and work them and get some progress in your relationships and in your marriage. Okay. And now let me see. Everyone can be divided into 3 personality types: aggressives, passive aggressives, and passives. I have a live recording, yes, on this on my IGTV. So just go there, check it out. If you are an aggressive, slow down, carry your partner along in decision making, allow them to be part of the process in making decisions. Also make it easy for them to say no to the plans you've made. Don't expect them to put up a fight for what they want like you would. They're not wired that way. So if they say something once or quietly, listen to it and take note of what they said, because they mean it. Always find out if they are okay with the plans you have made. If you're an aggressive, go out of your way to always ask your partner, are you fine with this plan? Are you fine with this plan? Because an aggressive is always making plans and moving forward, okay? And you've got to make sure that you're carrying them along. A passive aggressive looks like they're following you, looks like they're carried along, but actually they're not carried along. In their mind, they are resisting. They're just not saying it. And if they keep quiet long enough, they get to a point where when they back away from you, it's hard to draw them back in. I've discussed this before. Feel free to talk to me. Feel free to DM me, and we can do some counseling. If you are a passive aggressive, learn to speak out sooner. Let your partner know what's going on in your mind. That's the thing with the passive aggressive. They are aggressive internally and they are passive externally. So you think that they're okay with what you're doing, but they're not. And if an aggressive, notice these things. If you just notice that you thought they were with you, then you find out that actually they're not totally with you. Once you find that out, sit them down and say, please, 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 tell me what's in your mind. Just tell me, because you want to know now before it's too late, and then you're dealing with things that you don't want to deal with. It's like please, 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 tell me what's in your mind, and don't be shy. Don't just tell me I can take it. I can just take it. Tell me, and then hear what they have to say and factor it into the plans that you're making. Binta says, what happens when he keeps saying that you don't respect him, but you know that you are not being aggressive at all, but he just keeps on complaining and giving you the silent treatment? Yes. Now the truth is this. Most aggressives don't know that they're aggressive. So if you're getting signs that he's complaining, you may need to get a third party to look into it. Because I'll tell you this, an aggressive person is a good person, and they're not being aggressive to hurt anybody. To quite frank, it's a good trait. It's a trait of a go-getter, a person that makes plans. They can verbalize their plans, they can move on it, and they can move forward. So there's nothing bad about it. But to a passive aggressive, it's too much. It's too much for them. They want to be carried along. They want you to slow down and ask their opinion. They want to be involved in the process. A passive can, on their own, start the plan from the beginning to the end. Okay. But then now that you are joined by the hip to a passive aggressive, you've got to bring them into the planning, bring them into the process, and then do that. So what I'll say is that get a third party in to look into it, to find out that do they really have a point. Yes. Neighbors says, when you are stuck with a passive aggressive partner, what do you do? If you're stuck with a passive, if you're with, don't say stuck. If you're with a passive aggressive partner, what you do is very simple. Slow down in your planning in your head. Plan verbally, involve them in it. Passive aggressives want to be involved in the process and make it very easy for them to say no. Like a typical aggressive will say, you know, I've bought tickets for summer, I've spoken to Auntie in London, and I've made arrangements, and on this date and this date, I think these 2 dates are okay. Which of these 2 dates are fine, so I can, you know, confirm the plans, and then we'll go for the trip. Now, the passive aggressive is like, okay, is this time good for me? Did you find out? Did I want Auntie to know we're going to be in London? You know, many things are going on in the head, and they may not say it, but they might say, okay, and then you just go on, and you think things are fine, okay? But to be quite frank, they would have loved you to say, like, you know what, should we go for vacation this summer? Okay, if we go, where should we go? Auntie's house is a good idea. Should we go? Okay, what dates, you know, involve them. There's a way that you kind of get them in, then it's fine. But if you don't, they won't say no, but they're not agreeing with you, and that's the part of it. So I hope of course, PD is the third party. Most definitely, Binta, surely PD is the third party. Yes, get me involved and we'll sort it out. Fantastic. Any more questions, people? Let me see if I have any questions here. She wanted a surprise. She didn't want to be the one to tell me. Okay, this is a question here. It says she wanted a surprise, but she didn't want to be the one to tell me where she'd like to go. I mean, like it's like this. If it's a simple thing like somewhere to go, then it's easy. It's when people want something that they won't tell you, but at the same time they want it, and they won't tell you. And then you're racking your brain. I don't know if you're a guy and you've been there, tell me, because I've been there before, where you know that this woman wants something, she's not saying it. Sometimes she herself doesn't even know what she wants, but she wants it, and she needs you to figure it out and get it and bring it. Then it starts to become a problem. So that's something we need to look at. But if it's to choose a restaurant, choose a restaurant. On my phone, I have a list of all the best restaurants in town. So, choose a restaurant, I'll flip through what you want, Chinese, Spanish, Indian, whatever, we'll find one. So be prepared. Don't say PD said, actually. Once asked my spouse where she wanted me to take her for her birthday, and she got upset. Well, that's a good one. To be very frank, asking her where she wants to go, shouldn't get her upset. So you guys need some counseling. So come see PD. What do you do when you tell your partner you don't like something, but they just keep doing it anyway? That's a good question. They keep doing it anyway. You want to start to demonstrate to them what you want. Whatever it is that you want from them, do it to them. Do it to them long enough while you're telling them that, this thing that I'm doing, that you're enjoying, that you like, is what I'd like you to do for me. So you sow it into their lives. And as I told you before, if you sow something into a person's life, you can't get the results today. It just doesn't happen that way. If I sow corn today, I'll eat corn in 3 months' time. So if you keep doing it, eventually they'll turn around. People will mirror back to you what you do to them. The mistake that we do many times is we make a demand for something or request something that we are not necessarily giving. So, and I'll tell you one other thing too. Any time that your spouse's love tank is full, they will do anything for you. Which means that you know their love language, you've done it to them till they feel so loved by you. Any woman or man that feels so loved by you will do whatever you want. And that's one thing that I don't see enough people tapping into. It's like many times we're concerned about ourselves. It's like, this is what I want. This is what I want. Until I get it, I'm not going to be happy. And I want this, and it's hurting me. But guess what? Love is not about you. Love is always about the other person. So if we focus on making that person loved and just completely feel loved, eventually they will love us back. Did we get that? Is silent treatment part of emotional abuse? Yes, silent treatment is surely part of emotional abuse. Okay. What if your partner refuses to talk about the issue and just says it's fine when it's not? I think I answered that before. What if your partner is not willing to resolve the issue? They just say it's fine. To be quite frank, that's very poor communication. If there's a problem and the partner says it's fine, you need counseling. And that's where counseling comes in. Many times with couples, you need a third party with experience to come in and just explain the dynamics of what's going on and show you where you're going wrong and just give you some wisdom on how to go forward. And things start to work. We must fill that love tank to overflow. And that is true. You know, when it overflows, love always comes back. It's automatic. Fantastic. Okay. This is 60 Minutes with PD. Please follow me right here at PIDI19. Let's do relationships together. Please fill out my contact form in my bio for free confidential counseling. Please send us your testimonials and follow me on YouTube. Please DM me your topics you would like me to discuss. Secret number 21. You can't change your partner. Many times we are already married and then we have this, I have to change this person or I can't be happy, except they changed. But guess what? You should have thought about that before you got married. And that's one thing, you date to choose, okay? That's when you should have, done all the changing. But now that you're in it, to be quite frank, you really can't change them. Only God can change people. People can't change people. Only God can change people. Let's keep that in our minds. You can't nag your partner into changing. Nagging doesn't work. So secret number 21 is you can't change your partner. Okay, that's right. Only God can change people. Don't nag. Some people resort to abusing their spouses or finding ways to punish them in an attempt to change them. And I've seen this where you want your spouse to lose weight and you start to call her names, you start to make her feel uncomfortable, you start to ridicule her because you think if I ridicule her enough, she may stop eating or she may, it's not what you should do. You just shouldn't do that. You're better off loving on them. You're better off encouraging them. You're better off joining them to do whatever that they're doing, to just get them to do it. And you're better off letting them know that you love them the way they are. And that's so important. We're changing get your partner to change. It doesn't happen by you nagging them, abusing them, punishing them, or just making them feel worthless because you're trying to change them, because that's what you want out of them. That's just not something you do in a marriage, okay? And we need to know this. Like I said last week, the enemy of marriage is not the devil. It's ignorance. Ignorance is the first, the devil will attack, but the ignorance is the first enemy of successful marriages. It's ignorance. We just don't know. So we are good people. We've got good intentions, but we're doing the wrong thing. And ignorantly, we are hurting our partners and we are killing our marriage all by ourselves in ignorance. And that's why I'm here, to give us wisdom so we will not be ignorant, we'll be enlightened, we'll be wise people. Okay, so don't abuse or punish your partner in an attempt to change them. It doesn't work. Your partner will only resent you and the marriage will get worse. Model what you want to them patiently. Sow it into their lives. Your spouse will respond better and try harder when their love tank is full, when they have been loved on and encouraged. This is the best way to get them to change. Did we get that? Secret number, wow, my time is up. Secret number 22, you must be a patient listener. Yes, marriages work with patient people, patient listener. Learn to listen patiently. Always make sure that your partner knows they got heard by you. Okay? Your partner wants to know that they got heard by you. Even if you don't agree with them, let them know you understand where they're coming from. Don't cut them off. And this is important, people. Don't cut them off before they finish saying what they want to tell you. Too many times, your spouse is saying something, your partner is saying something, and you cut them off. And when you cut people off like that, it's prideful. It's like, I feel what I have to say is more important than what you're saying right now. So guess what? Before you finish saying what you're saying, I'm just going to cut you off and tell you what I want to say. Who's done some cutting off before? Who is guilty of cutting people off in conversations? Are you there? Wave. And who's been cut off all the time by their partner, spouse, or friends? It's pride. It's just pride. It's you feeling like, what? I can't wait for this guy to finish saying what they're saying. What I have to say is more important, and I'm just going to say it now anyway over what they're saying. So let's stop cutting people off in conversations. It's not a good sign. Okay, good. You want to hear everything that your spouse has to say. You want them to get everything off their chest. A good listener is very attractive. Did you hear that? Just being a good listener makes you very attractive. Secret number 23, be intentional about your response to your spouse. Don't be emotional in your responses. Be intentional about your responses to your spouse. The key word there being intentional. Be intentional to keep your response in the love zone. There is a love zone. Always keep your responses to your spouse in the love zone. Even when they've done something that should normally upset you, something that's rubbed you wrong, keep your responses in the love zone. Be intentional to do love always, even when love is not being done to you. So you're doing love even when it's not being done to you. Be intentional about being patient even when your partner's behavior is testing you. Be intentional about not lashing out at your spouse even when they are prodding you. Be intentional about not getting angry with your spouse even when they are rubbing you wrong. Be intentional about always being encouraging. Always be encouraging. Never put your spouse down. Okay? Be intentional about being helpful. Yes, be helpful with your spouse. Even when you are tired, be helpful. Be intentional about being generous to your spouse. Don't be tight-fisted. It's ugly. Generosity is attractive, is beautiful, is handsome. Be intentional about doing your spouse's love language to them. Be intentional to demonstrate and verbalize your love and care to your spouse. The key word here is intentional. Be intentional to let go of offenses quickly and easily. Be intentional to forgive quickly. Be intentional about being fun to be with. And that's one thing about marriage. Be intentional about being fun to be with. Some people, you just come home and you're just gruffy. I've come back from work, I'm tired. You don't help, you eat. And then you go out and have fun with the boys, have fun with the boys. But home is not for fun. So in your mind, you have this idea that fun is outside. Home is not fun. What do you think your darling wife is doing? How is she managing or coping? So it's so important that you make sure that home is fun. You've got to just make sure, be intentional to have fun. Just don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun at home. Have fun with your spouse. Okay, be fun to be with. Secret number 24. Establish marital oversight over your marriage. This is serious stuff, but I'll go by it as quick as I can. All marriages require marital oversight. This marital oversight ideally should be set up before you get married, but you can still do it after you have been married. You should not take your problems with your spouse to your parents. I say one more time, don't take issues home. Don't take issues to your parents, because your parents, they hear the complaints, and they accumulate the complaints. Eventually, they're going to hate your spouse, they're going to give you bad advice, and it's just not going to work in your favor. So don't take your problems home to your parents. Okay? So you have to find a person that you respect, that's mature, that's wise, that both of you agree that this person or these people will have oversight over our marriage. If we have problems, we will go to them. Whatever they say, we will agree with and we will implement. So you have this person who is not a parent and most likely not a family member. It could be, but definitely not a parent. Because you see, it's you and your spouse. So if you had a quarrel tonight and you told your parents, they heard it and they kept it. Now you go back home, you sleep in the same bed, you interact, you forgive yourselves, and things work. Okay? So now you've forgiven yourselves and it's as if nothing happened. But guess what? In your parents' mind, something happened. So that's one. And then it happens again. 2, 3, 4. By the 10th time, your parents are mad at your spouse. They haven't had a time to reconcile with him, because it's that situation of reconciling with him doesn't come up. Him or her doesn't come up because it was taken to them in private. If you get my point. So now your parents will struggle. It's like you poison the atmosphere around your marriage by telling your parents. So always have a person that is not a parent that has oversight. And marriages will have issues that both of you can't resolve. And that's the reason why you have oversight. Because most times you are trying to sort out things between yourselves. And that's great. But at some point in time, you're going to need to have somebody from the outside come in and resolve issues for you. So then there should be there should be oversight of your marriage. Also, there should be some kind of peer accountability setup, meaning friends matter. Each person must have a friend or friends who are responsibly married and doing well. Okay? And you both know that this person is your accountability partner. So you tell them stuff that's going on, and you just, it's there. And it's very, very important. If your spouse has irresponsible friends, I'm telling you, you will have problems. I say, if all the friends that your spouse has are bad boys, they drink, and they're chasing girls up and down, and you think that your spouse will not be influenced by that, you are joking. You are joking. It's just not going to work. So it's something you do intentionally. And it's on both sides. Same thing for her too. Make sure that she has some responsible friends, married and everything, and they're accountability partners. They talk about issues, they bounce things back and forth, and they hold themselves accountable. It's important. So two things. One is oversight. Okay. Second is accountability. You've got to set these things up to make your marriage work, and never follow a person that refuses to be accountable to anybody. That's just a loose cannon, and you're looking for trouble if you settle with a person like that. If you already have a person like that, bring them to me. We'll try to handcuff them and beat them up, and we'll see what kind of results we'll get at the end of the day. Okay, people. Secret number 25: be intentional to have an interest in your spouse's hobbies. I've had this for where a wife said, my husband likes to do something, and he goes there a lot. He invites me to go, but I don't like it, and I don't go. And she allows her husband to go there, hang with his friends, and do this thing that they do. And eventually, of course, there's a problem in the marriage because you want to have an interest in your hobbies, because you've got more communication, you've got more depth. You have fun with yourselves. Your friendship is better because whatever it is that they're into, you have opened your mind to be into it too. It's just another platform to connect at. Okay, people, it's 60 minutes. I gotta go. Like I said at the beginning, it's the fastest moving 60 minutes of the day. I gotta go. So guys, you like my music? Let's have some music, guys. Let's pop it up. You like that? Yes, it's time to go. All right. So guys, I love you all. I'll be back next week at 8:30 p.m. Same time, same place. Be good, instead of trouble. Love one another, okay? And be good, be nice to people. Okay, people, bye. Bye, people.